Saturday night NFL playoff football between the Ravens and Bills is worth $100,000. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into another episode of Winning Bets. I'm your host, Jason Mattis, as always. This one's one of the free contests that we play, and it's over on the NBC Sports Predictor app, and it's Ravens versus Bills on Saturday Night Football for a chance to win $100,000 if you can correctly answer all 7 questions. If nobody can do it, they'll give away a guaranteed $1,000 prize to the group of people that can get the most right. Obviously, really fascinated for this matchup. If you guys are new to me and new watching videos here on my channel, welcome to the channel, first of all. And second of all, I'm obviously a Bills fan. There's no hiding that. I am a Bills fan. Everybody here knows that. So I'm always helpful in these videos. There's no real homerism, but just wanted to go ahead, and any new subscribers out there, go ahead and throw that out there. Went ahead and always did the research like I always did, but also analyzed the 2019 Week 14 matchup where the Ravens and Bills played. The Ravens won that game by 7 points, so got a little bit of that research into this. Also the 2020 total, and of course always looking at the last 3 weeks to kind of see where these teams are currently in their trend. So let's jump on into it and see how we'll do this week. Question 1 is, what's going to be Josh Allen's total yards and total TDs? Well, I looked up Josh Allen passing numbers against similar ranked defenses, the 5 defenses that are ranked around what the Ravens are from a passing perspective. And we got 311 against the Rams, 375 against the 49ers, 238 against the Steelers, 324 last week against the Colts, and 157 passing yards against the Chargers. That's an average of 281 yards. Did the same thing from his rushing perspective. He got 54 last week against the Colts, 8 against the Rams, 14 against the Seahawks, 11 against the 49ers, and 28 against the Steelers. That's for an average of 23 rushing yards per game in those contests. That's a total of 304 yards. And then for TDs, again, looking at TDs against similar ranked opponents of the Ravens, he's got 20 total TDs. That's for an average of 3.3 touchdowns per game. So for Josh Allen, I'm going to go ahead and lock him in at 280 to 329 total yards and 4 touchdowns. I see Josh Allen being involved in every single touchdown. Obviously, he gets credit for all the throwing touchdowns, but from a rushing standpoint, we know how they use his legs, and they no longer have Zach Moss out for a season-ending injury. So love Josh Allen being involved in almost every, if not every single touchdown. So I'll go ahead and take 4 there. Question 2 is about Lamar Jackson, passing yards and rushing yards. Well, did the same thing for him. Looked up the Bills' defensive records, looked up the 5 teams around it, and see what Lamar Jackson did in those 5 games. He got 179 yards against the Titans, 183 against the Giants, 243 against the Jags, 204 against the Texans, and 107 against the Cowboys. That's for an average of 183 yards. Same thing from his rushing standpoint. He got 94 against the Cowboys, 53 against Washington, 65 against Steelers, 108 against the Eagles, and 80 against the Giants. That's for an average of 80 yards per game in those contests. So that's for a total of 263 yards. I'm going to go ahead and lock him in at 100. Oh, I didn't add on I'm going to lock him in on a 175 to 204 passing yards. I love how his average falls perfectly right in the middle of that. And his rushing does too. His rushing was 80 yards average. I'm going to go ahead and lock it on 70 to 94 rushing yards. Again, falls perfectly in his numbers. So I love this, and I am extremely nervous. As a Bills fan, I am already having nightmares of Lamar Jackson running down the field on us. I am extremely nervous. Question 3 is about Stefan Diggs. What's going to be his reception and yardage? Well, he averages 10.3 targets per game. He's catching 7.9 receptions, and he's got 95 yards per game. His average per catch is 12.1 yards. Last week, he went 6 for 9 for 128 yards. He missed 1 reception, though. Should have easily been at 7. He let that one literally go right through his hand, so should have been 7 for 9, but it is what it is. He was 6 for 9. His yardage average the last 5 weeks, and that's using the Dolphins projecting out if he would have played that second half. His average in the last 5 weeks is 140 yards, so he's really stepped it up. And his receptions, when we look at his season totals high, he's at 11 receptions 1 time, he's at 10 receptions 4 times, and he's at 9 receptions 2 times. I'm going to go ahead and lock Stefan Diggs into 8 to 9 receptions and give him 110 to 134 yards. This Ravens, at least from a cornerback perspective, with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, are 2 of the best that the Bills have faced all season long. So it should slow down Stefan Diggs a little bit. He'll still get his. He's going to eat. He's the best wide receiver on this field, best wide receiver in the league, statistically standpoint from the 2020 season. But they're going to slow him down just a little bit, but he's still going to get a good amount of production. Question 4 is what's going to be the total points scored in the second quarter? If we look over the last 3 games for this one, the Bills are scoring 18.7 points in the second quarter. The Ravens are scoring 7.7. The Ravens allow 2 points in the second quarter, and the Bills allow 5.3 points. So what's that Bills average? Take what they score up against the Ravens allow. That's 10.35. Do the same for the Ravens. That's an average of 6.5. That's a total of 16.85 points. Again, love how it falls right in this range. I'll go ahead and take 15 to 20 points will be scored in the second quarter. Question 5 is what's going to be the first TD of the second half? We know all these players. We know J.K. Dobbins and Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. They were the 2 guys that scored touchdowns last week against the Titans. That's what they did most of the season. You look at these 2 guys, obviously from a rushing standpoint, Dobbins and Lamar get the touchdown. Marquise Brown, he led the targets last week versus the Titans. He had 9 targets. Up next with Mark Andrews. He's the big one here for the Ravens. Any other player? Mark Andrews, any other player? And then for Josh Allen, we know he's got 9 rushing touchdowns on the season. Diggs, he's got 8 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis is a little bit hard to predict, so not quite sure how you can pick him. And then Bills, any other players right there. Honestly, when I broke this down, I don't see Lamar tossing in a touchdown. I mean, they're going to get some rushing touchdowns, I believe. That's where the Bills defense can, have its weaknesses on the rushing, defending that run standpoint. So I see the Ravens rushing touchdowns in. The only way Lamar throws in a pass is if it goes to Mark Andrews in a red zone. We know how much Mark Andrews eats and catches balls in the red zone. So if it's a red zone passing touchdown, it'll go Mark Andrews. Otherwise, I just don't see Lamar Jackson passing in a touchdown. So to me, it's between Dobbins, Lamar, and Bills, any other player. The Bills fan will go with any other player. Just too many weapons there. You get all the tight ends. You get the backup running backs. You get all the running backs. So I'm going to go ahead and say Bills, any other player. This is where I always make one entry different on my wife's, or one selection different on my wife's entry. For her, I'm going to say J.K. Dobbins. I think the Bills will be motivated to stop Lamar Jackson, knowing that he cannot win, or he cannot beat them. I got Dobbins on her entry. Dobbins will be the first touchdown of the second half. Question 6 is what's going to be the longest touchdown of the game? You guys know this one's a complete guess, so I'm going to go ahead and say 36 to 40 yards. Keep in mind, last week, Diggs caught that big touchdown there against the Colts, and it looked like a big play. It was only 36 yards. I mean, it was a big play, but just keep in mind, it was only 36 yards for what is perceived a big, big play. And question 7, as we know, what's always going to be the winner and what's going to be the win margin? Well, the line is currently right now Bills minus 2.5. I'm always going to pick the Bills. I've got so much invested on this game. It's not true. It's not all a homer pick. Look, the Bills only lost this game by 7 points last year, against the Ravens. This offense that they're going to bring into, this matchup is significantly better. If they get out to any sort of lead and put the Ravens in a passing situation, the Bills will have an advantage because A, that's not Lamar Jackson's strength, and B, now you're playing right into the strength of that Bills second defense, which is their secondary. Their corners and their safeties are, tops in the league. So if the Bills can just, be successful in offense and be successful in offense earlier, they can have this script kind of how I think the coaches would want this one to unfold for the Bills. So it is going to be close. I've got the Bills winning this game, but it's only going to be by 3 points. Much like last week's game against the Colts, it's going to be a very, very close game. 2 good teams, 2 good defenses going at it. I can't wait. All right, that's how I'm going to fill out my chance to win $100,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app for a chance between the Ravens and the Bills. As always, I'm trying to be of help to you guys. Go ahead and like that or hit that like button if I've been of help to you. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next contest, which we got Bucks Saints for $250,000, and we also got Rams Packers for $250,000. Watch those videos, get your picks in, and as always, good luck. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning